Jeffrey Battle spent years building a quiet, respectable life. As a U.S. Air Force veteran, his background check was spotless, his record completely ordinary. In 2023, he typed his name into Microsoft's Bing search engine and discovered something disturbing. Bing's AI assistant generated a short biography that merged his identity with a completely different man, whose first name was spelled slightly differently. According to the screen, this veteran was an active member of the Portland 7, U.S. citizens convicted of attempting to join the Taliban. Artificial intelligence models rely on scraping massive amounts of raw internet data to formulate their answers. When those systems cross wires, perfectly innocent citizens are branded as violent criminals by code they have no ability to correct. Robbie Starbuck, a high-profile conservative activist, found himself facing an even more aggressive version of this exact problem. In August 2024, Meta's AI chatbot began telling users that Starbuck was an active participant in the January 6th Capitol riots. The system confidently claimed he had been arrested and pled guilty to a misdemeanor, despite the fact that he was at home in Tennessee. The fabrications escalated rapidly. By 2025, Google's Gemini AI was generating elaborate claims that Starbuck was a child rapist who flew on Jeffrey Epstein's private plane, while also accusing him of stalking and murder. These outputs were immediately scraped by B2B risk algorithms, vetting partners for Fortune 500s. Almost overnight, Starbucks struggled to secure advertising for his projects, and multiple companies abruptly denied his requests for home and auto insurance. This exposes a systemic vulnerability in the automated economy. When invisible corporate risk algorithms scrape machine-generated lies as factual data, a software hallucination translates directly into financial and professional ruin. To understand why this happens, look at this diagram mapping how large language models operate. They do not consult a factual database or reference a verified encyclopedia. They are predictive text engines, mathematically calculating which word is most likely to follow. The system is designed to generate an answer at all costs. When uncertain, it prioritizes guessing over admitting ignorance, forcing a statistically plausible but factually wrong completion. This exact statistical blending is what destroyed Jeffrey Battle's search results. The AI saw the words Jeffrey Battle and pulled the highest probability associations from the news, the Portland 7 case, and stitched it onto the veteran's biography. Large language models are optimized for plausible syntax rather than factual accuracy. In an architecture built on probability rather than verification, false information is an inevitable result of how the system functions. For decades, the internet has been governed by a specific legal shield known as Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. It states that tech companies are neutral platforms, not publishers, meaning they cannot be sued for the illegal or defamatory things their users post. That single law allowed the entire Web 2.0 ecosystem to flourish. Social media networks, early search engines, and digital forums became legally bulletproof against defamation lawsuits because the liability always fell on the individual user, not the company hosting the servers. Generative AI bypasses that protection entirely. An AI chatbot is not a third-party user. It is a proprietary product creating original content. When a prompt is typed, the software itself is speaking. According to a 2026 report by the law firm Quinn Emanuel, courts are noticing this distinction. Judges are increasingly allowing lawsuits against AI developers to proceed not under traditional publication laws, but under the rules of product liability and negligence. By transitioning from hosting human content to generating their own text, tech giants have accidentally rendered their most foundational legal shield completely useless. Activists are already exploiting this new legal reality. When Robbie Starbuck sued Meta for its January 6th fabrications, he didn't seek a quiet financial payout. Instead, he forced Meta to settle by granting him an advisory role, dictating political bias guardrails directly to the company's product teams. Starbuck is currently executing the exact same strategy against Google, filing a $15 million defamation lawsuit in Delaware Superior Court over the hallucinations generated by Gemini. Traditional defamation lawsuits were designed to secure financial damages to repair a ruined reputation. This new tactic leverages the threat of massive, unshielded liability to extract corporate governance and algorithmic control. Activists have realized that this specific legal vulnerability is a Trojan horse. The threat of product liability lawsuits provides a direct path to strong-arm their way into the boardrooms of the world's most powerful tech companies. In a standard defamation case involving a public figure, a plaintiff must prove actual malice, meaning the publisher knew the statement was false but published it anyway. Proving a machine acted with malice is a nearly impossible legal threshold. But as this scale demonstrates, the legal bar for product defect is much lower. A plaintiff only needs to prove that a company knowingly released a defective, hallucinating, and unsafe product to the public. This places companies like Microsoft, Google, and Meta in an impossible corner. Because hallucinations are inherent to how predictive text engines work, they must either fix a mathematically unfixable flaw or face an endless wave of strict liability lawsuits. For 30 years, tech companies avoided liability by claiming they were just neutral messengers. By deploying machines that generate their own speech, they have voluntarily traded their strongest legal immunity for a future of constant litigation.